Katrina Foley is a community leader, successful businesswoman, working mom, and attorney who was elected as Orange County's newest supervisor for District 2 in 2021. She was Costa Mesa's first directly elected mayor, where she served for 4 years. It is my honor to introduce Supervisor Katrina Foley, who will speak, and then we'll take a few questions from those that you submit on your index cards. Thank you so much. Welcome, Supervisor.
Vaccinated and boosted. Good evening, Laguna Woods. It's so great to be here. And I'm Katrina Foley, I'm your county supervisor, and I cannot wait to represent you as the District 5 supervisor coming up here after June. So I want to go through a couple of things about our path to victory and some of the work that we've been doing in this 1 year that we've been on the Board of Supervisors, because it's hard to believe that it's this month we were elected 1 year ago. So you want to move that slide to the next slide? That's my mom right there. So in 2021, in March of 2021, we managed to win in the special election, and we were the top vote getter. We won by 44.28%. Now, yes, clap for that. That's great. Now you see there, we had that guy Kevin Muldoon. He got 11.24% of the vote. Well, he's running against me again. So we need to make sure he doesn't get 11.24% of the vote. We're going to push that number down. Okay, next slide. Now, here are some of the things that we've worked on tirelessly since we got elected. The first thing I did when I got elected was I stood up the Orange County Fairgrounds as a vaccine super pod. And that was super critical because we did not have super pods in that area. We also made sure that we had vaccine clinics that were accessible for people at all different times of day, because working families needed to be able to have access to the vaccine in the evening. So since I got elected, we have hosted more than 280 vaccine clinics, and I'm happy to report that in Orange County overall, by the way, Laguna Woods, you all are doing fantastic. You're 100% vaccinated. Orange County overall is over 2.6 million people vaccinated of our 3.2 million residents. So we have done really good work. We're at about 74% of eligible people to be vaccinated. So we still have a little more work to do on the third dose, but we have more than nearly 2 million people on the third dose who have gotten vaccinated with their third dose. So we're doing well. We've passed out when we made this slide, it was 12,000. We're up to 16,000 test kits that we passed out just out of my own office. And I personally went door to door to many of our senior housing facilities and developments in the Newport Beach, Costa Mesa, Irvine area, and we passed out about 800, I personally passed out of the test kits so that people at the holidays could spend time with their families and get tested and give those test kits to their family members who might be younger that they want to hang out with over the holidays. So economic recovery, a big priority for us. Making sure our small businesses have supports, making sure they can stay open, they have PPE, they have grants that would bridge the time until they could get fully open again. We worked tirelessly on those issues. Enhancing our public safety, it's important. Public safety and living in safe neighborhoods, this is important to Orange County residents. And making sure that we process the backlog of sexual assault rape kits. You can't believe the thousands of rape kits that were sitting, waiting to be processed. Victims not able to get justice because these rape kits did not have funding to process them. So we have to fund those. We also been working with our cities to make sure that, and I know many of you heard me talk about this before, but sober living homes that are not there to treat people and care for people, but really just to make a buck and then bring people in and then push them back out onto the streets. We've worked tirelessly to make sure that those who are good operators and caring operators and following the rules and caring for people continue to operate, but those that are not, that we shut them down. We've also combated many of our, one of the public safety issues is fentanyl. I don't know how many of you know what fentanyl is. Raise your hand. Okay. Now, you probably know about fentanyl because it's for cancer treatment, for pain relief. It's for extreme pain relief post-surgery. But fentanyl now in our community is becoming a crisis. It is becoming something that if you are, or anyone you know, is buying drugs, Xanax, Oxycontin, any number of drugs, cocaine, you can assume that it is either fentanyl or it's laced with fentanyl. And it will kill you. It is a very dangerous drug when not used per medication and prescription by a doctor or healthcare professional. We have healthcare professionals and paramedics getting exposed on the streets trying to save people, and they're getting exposed to the drug and having to be hospitalized. That's how dangerous it is. So that's becoming a bit of a crisis here in Orange County, and we're working on that. Combating climate change. You know, this is this beautiful area that we live here in Orange County. We have beautiful open spaces. We have an amazing coast. And in October, we had this horrible oil spill that hit our coast. And myself and Mayor Kim Carr, former Mayor Kim Carr, who's now running for state senate, who I've endorsed, you should vote for her, and also Connie Petrie Norris, we all rallied together to make sure that we had a quick response, that oil did not make its way into our wetlands too dramatically, and that we certainly didn't close our beaches and harbors for too long. I think our beaches and harbors are cleaner than they've ever been because we worked so hard to clean everything up. But we still must work on how do we decommission these oil platforms so that we are working towards a cleaner energy solution, cleaner jobs. But we want to make sure we protect the workers who are working there because those jobs pay a lot of money, but they're very toxic jobs, so we need to clean up those jobs. And we need to decommission those platforms. We also, we did a little thing where the first month that I was in office, I was alerted that there was a guy named Buck Johns. Anyone know who Buck Johns is? Anyway, he's a developer guy, and he lives in Newport, and his house, private residence, backs to the Back Bay. Beautiful open space of the Back Bay. Well, he had a fence that was put up, a chain link fence. It was on private property in the Back Bay. And he had worked out a deal with Michelle Steele, who was the person that I replaced in this seat, that he was going to buy that public property, open space property, from the county for $10,000. Oh. Yes. And so, yeah. How many of you have been looking at prices of property these days? Okay. I mean, in my little neighborhood in Costa Mesa, you can't get a 2,000 square foot anything for $10,000, even $1 million. So I got alerted to this, and there were two ways that you could shut this down. The first way to shut it down was that I just had to take the item off the agenda and say, well, we're not going to vote on this, okay? The second way you shut it down was that a number of people in the neighborhood, and I think the number was something like 200, but they got 750 people to sign a petition. But a number of people in the neighborhood had to sign a petition requesting that it be taken off the agenda or that an election be held in order to let the voters decide whether this individual should be able to pay $10,000 for this amazing open space property that belongs to the public. And so I took it off the agenda, but they got 750 signatures, and now we're in a weird place with it because the county staff are being directed by the majority not to take the fence down. So we're still working on it, but at least we didn't sell it to him for $10,000. Working on Banning Ranch. Raise your hand if you know Banning Ranch. Okay, Banning Ranch, beautiful, coastal, regional property, old oil wells now can be converted into public open space. Yes, beautiful. And Connie and I and some of our council members in Costa Mesa working hard to make this future legacy for our families in the future to be able to camp there, walk there, enjoy this beautiful open space. And then, of course, the very important issue of homelessness. And it just continues to be an issue that we struggle with here in Orange County and across the state of California. And there's a lot of different ways to address people experiencing homelessness, but there's a huge continuum as well. There's people who are chronically homeless and who either have mental health issues, or what I'm finding from our research is a lot of people who have addiction issues, and that obviously contributes to mental health issues. They're living in our parks, on the streets, sidewalks, and then there's people who, like the guy Dan, who is a veteran and contacted our office this week. And Dan is a 45-year-old. He served in the Navy, he served our country. He has 3 children, and he has been, because of 100% disability that was caused in his service, he's been unable to hold down a job. And so he's living in his car because he wants to be near his children who live in Irvine, and he wants to be able to visit with his children and have a relationship with his children. So he's living in his car. He has a voucher that will pay his rent to live under a roof. But guess what? He's had that voucher for months, and he cannot find a landlord that will accept the voucher. This veteran who served our country and who is trying to do the right thing, he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't drink, he just cannot keep a job. And he has a voucher that we gave him as a government to help him, and he cannot find housing with the voucher. There's something wrong. We have to fix that, okay? If we have a way for people to get housed, but they can't find housing, we're not incentivizing the landlords enough. We're not working with the landlords to make it palatable or financially something that they would entertain. And so we're going to be having an event here coming up on April 5th where we are going to recruit landlords. And we're going to show them that there are ways that you can continue to have financial viability in your apartment complexes, but you can also help, especially help our veterans to find housing. That's an issue we've been dealing with. We also have been working really hard to expand our Be Well program, which is our mental health services program, and it is a model. I recently got to share the Be Well Center, which is up in Orange, with our Secretary of Health and Human Services, Javier Becerra. He came here from Washington, D.C. The president actually asked him to come to Orange County and learn about this program. So we toured with him, and he was so impressed because the facility there has a sobering station. And the sobering station is so that people who are either arrested because of drugs or alcohol, they're not going into the jail. They're going to the sobering station. So they don't then have another complication for their lives, for their jobs. They go to the sobering station instead of going into jail and getting a criminal record. And then people in the sobering station have navigation services, mental health services, addiction treatment services. They talk to them, they try to help them to get on a better path. And so he was so impressed. He said, yes, clap for that. So impressed by this that he says he's touring all of America and models, trying to find a model to recommend to the president. And so let's hope that Orange County model is the one that they adopt. And we're working on these issues every single day in our office. The county is spending $1.8 billion to serve the needs of mental health, homelessness, and addiction treatment services. But we could do better because we could do it better. We have so many people that are still suffering and hurting, and this is a priority for my office, and I'll continue to work on that. Okay, next slide. Where's the new District 5? So now we're going to switch over to the campaign. That's everything we're doing, and I'll tell you, that's just part of it. We work on so many projects. I love this job. I think I was meant to do this. But we have, so the new district is that purple area, District 5. The purple area that wraps around all the way down the coast and it has those little fingers. That's Costa de Caza and Ladera and Las Flores. So it goes from Costa Mesa, Newport, UCI, Irvine Spectrum, Laguna Woods, Laguna Hills, Laguna Niguel, Aliso Viejo, Laguna Beach, Dana Point, San Juan Capistrano, San Clemente, Ladera, Costa de Caza, Las Flores, and Rancho Mission Viejo. It is a grand district. It's very large, and there's 420,000 voters in that district. 420,000. So if I wanted to do only one mailer to everyone in the district, who's going to guess how much that's going to cost me? $420,000. So it is hard to reach all the voters in this district because it's a highly registered district, more so than any other district. Almost every adult is registered to vote in this district. So we have 660,000 residents and 420,000 are registered voters. So next slide, please. Wow. Yeah. So here's the demographics of the district. And since we did this slide, we gained a point as Democrats. So yay, talk for that. So, and it's hard to read, even I can hardly read it. But the voter registration when we first made this slide was 32% Democrats, 37% Republicans, 29% no party preference. The Republicans lost a point, we gained a point on the Democrat side. So we're going in the right direction, right? But just to give some context, President Biden won this district, so yay, okay? And it's a better district than the one I won in the special election. So that was our registration, R+7. So I think we have a really good shot in this district, but it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of money. Next slide. Why is the 5th district supervisor race the most important race in Orange County this cycle? Maybe the most important race in California. The reason is this will be the opportunity to flip the Board of Supervisors to a majority Democrat board, which we have not had in 46 years, okay? And so this is our only shot though. Yes, thank you. If we don't win this in June, we risk not winning in November. But most importantly, if we don't win District 5, we will not have a majority on the Board of Supervisors for 2 decades. Because once you're in this district, District 5, that candidate is not getting out. And they're going to rebuild, and those numbers are going to go the opposite direction. So we must prioritize with some urgency this seat. This seat helps others across the whole district get elected. City Council, State Senate, State Assembly, Congress, Water District, whatever, you name it, whatever special district. Having the ability to win District 5 and have the influence of the Board of Supervisors behind anyone will be able to help us to push a more progressive agenda for Orange County and to prioritize the environment, prioritize caring for our community and our most vulnerable in our community, prioritize public health, which right now we do not have a very good public health system happening, and we have some risks with our public health system as it relates to serving the indigent. I just had a meeting with 5 hospital administrators out of our major hospitals, and they came to me concerned about Cal Optima, concerned about the district, concerned about the way that Supervisor Doe and others were taking over the indigent care in Orange County for their own personal benefit. We cannot let that happen. And so I am all in to win, and I hope you will join me. That's the last, oh, you're good. Okay. Okay, well, there's one more. There's one more, let's see.
And then question.
Oh yeah, how do we re-elect Katrina Foley? We re-elect, we have to phone bank. It's all the same stuff we always do. Phone bank, texting, raising money, house parties, meet and greets, getting us over here to talk to all your neighbors and friends, you sharing our newsletter and information about our campaign with everyone you know, organizing, and organizing. And we've already begun. We had our kickoff. Connie Petrie Norris and I are sharing our headquarters in Costa Mesa, and we kicked off our campaign, and we had canvassing going, and we're doing phone banking and canvassing every single day. We are going to have postcard writing. We have our website up, and now we just need all of you to get everybody to donate $5 even. I don't care. And then share it with your friends and get them to vote. Ballots drop on May 9th, and get everybody to start voting immediately. Don't wait, turn it in. Because if we turn out the vote, we will win. So thank you, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, what do you see as the 3 most pressing issues in Orange County in the near term and also in the long term?
The 3 most pressing issues: homelessness, reducing homelessness, housing, making housing more affordable across all continuums of ages and economics, and of course public safety in all our communities. You know, you all live here in this nice neighborhood, but not everybody in Orange County does, and we need to make sure that we have public safety and community-oriented safety programs across the county. And of course, climate action. I think that's just assumed for me. I don't know. That's every day.
Okay. Another question is, on the Board of Supervisors, even though the Board of Supervisor candidates are nonpartisan, isn't there usually a split between the Democrats and the GOP on certain issues, and which are those issues?
Well, I've been there for a year now, and the split has not been on party lines at all. The split has been, one time it was on gender lines. Most of the time it is a 5-0 vote on the items that we vote on at the board meetings. Now remember, what we're voting on at the board meetings is predominantly contracts. So we're voting on contracts that the directors and the departments have already vetted and gone through the procurement process with, and are bringing forward to do county services or infrastructure improvements or technology, any kind of public works. So we don't vote on a lot of the work that we do individually in our districts. And the one thing that I learned when I first got there that I didn't know before I got there was that each district office has its own budget. And we have ability to have discretion to do programs, to give grants, to support our initiatives within our own district, and without having to get a vote from someone else. So if you've got 3 districts that are Democrat districts that share Democrat values, working to reduce homelessness in a compassionate, dignified way, working on mental health issues and public health issues, supporting our seniors, supporting youth after-school programs as a public safety approach, making sure that we have the funding that is needed for the cities to be able to address some of these public health issues that they don't have funding for. If all 3 of us are working on that, if all 3 of us are in each of our districts working on climate action and sustainability programs, then guess what? You're working on it across the board. So that's something that's very important to know, that each board office gets a lot of discretion.
Okay. Now there's a question on gas prices, which is on everybody's mind. The first 2 questions is, what is the role of the county in keeping control of gas prices, especially preventing price gouging?
Well, I don't think the county actually has a role in that. That would be the probably the Consumer Protection Agency at the state. But what the county can do is the county can build infrastructure so more people can have better access to electric vehicle charging stations, so that they can have electric cars and get away from gas. One thing that I'm trying to do is help us to get the 2nd generation cars, so that people could buy used cars. The county could give tax rebates. The county could support legislation that addresses some of those issues, but the county itself does not have a role other than as it relates to, whether we change our fleet out to electric or buy gas. We don't have a role in the pricing itself.
Okay.
The district attorney's office probably does.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Yeah, so you've pretty much answered the next question, which is, most people can conserve by driving less, but how do you help low-income people? So if you have any additional comments.
I do actually, because one of our initiatives is our active transportation plan. So all the board members sit on the Orange County Transportation Authority, and working to create more walkable and bikeable areas in the community that are protected, that creating housing near job centers so people don't have to get into their cars. Now, up here in the southern part of the district, I took a big tour this weekend of the whole district. And there are so many bike trails, walking trails, but that is not the reality in the northern part of the district. So in the northern part of the district, Costa Mesa, Newport, Laguna Beach, there needs to be more of that type of infrastructure built in.
Okay, another question is, you'd mentioned Supervisor Doe and Cal Optima. How is Supervisor Doe making homelessness and healthcare a personal gain conflict of interest?
Well, I don't know if he's making homelessness a personal gain, but we're digging into this, but what I was reporting was that the hospital administrators from major hospitals in Orange County had to sit down with me expressing their concern about that. And I think what they shared was that for the first time ever, Cal Optima is really being taken over by a political person as opposed to the health system. And so, for example, we vote on who sits on Cal Optima as a board. And we were given this last year 2 candidates to vote on. There was a 3rd candidate. He was running one of our major hospitals, and he ran the hospital well. Most of his clients were on Medi-Cal, so he understands indigent care. He worked through the middle of a pandemic, so he understood the public health crisis and how to manage it and stay open and serve. The two candidates that Supervisor Doe moved forward were not even working at the time. One of them had just moved to Orange County like a year ago and was retired, and neither had any experience with hospitals the size that we have in Orange County. So the assumption is, okay, well, why would you move forward with somebody like that? Lisa Bartlett and I actually voted no. But why would you move forward with those types of inferior candidates to sit on a board that is responsible for funding the care for public health in Orange County, especially for the poor? And that is just so that somebody could control them. That's it. They want to be controlled. He wants to control them better.
Okay. Final question. Unfortunately, we don't have time for all of them, but is there any new information on on a second booster in the county?
Right now, we're trying to get everybody their third shot, and so for some it's a booster, for most it's a third shot. And you can still go and get a fourth shot if your doctor recommends that for you. But it's all about the timing. You know, you want to be, I think it's now, 6 months out. I'm not a doctor, so don't take my medical advice. But they're already talking about the fourth shot. So you can go and get a fourth shot if it's been that long since you got your third shot, which many of you may have because you all were the first to get vaccinated when we first started the vaccines in January of last year. So the timing is such that you would probably be eligible at this time for a fourth shot. But it depends on whether you need a booster or a fourth shot. You got to talk to your doctor about that. You're welcome. All right, well, thank you all so much. Thanks for spending the evening here, taking the time. I hope I've shown that I truly enjoy public service, and I hope I've earned your vote here tonight and your support. Thank you.
Obvious that she has been doing her job very well, and that she is very knowledgeable about everything that is involved in this job, and we are so fortunate to have her running in our district. And I hope that all of you will consider making a donation tonight or going home and making a donation online. Alyssa over there has some envelopes there, so raise your hand if you'd like an envelope and she'll pass one out to you. And we thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule to be here. We know that you have another engagement right after this, and so we really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I don't know what to do about hugging and shaking hands anymore because I don't do it at all anymore. So anyway, okay. Yes, Alyssa.
Sue, you can email everyone my information, and if you really want, my mom lives off Glenwood and Moulton, so if you want to drop off a check, she can also pick them up, and she has all the materials at her house. So.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good. I think I see some hands raised, Alyssa, for you to make the rounds there. Okay, we were also supposed to have Dr. Asif Mahmood here tonight, who is our candidate in the 40th Congressional District. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it, but he will be here April 11th and April 19th. April 11th is our meeting at the Towers, and April 19th is our meeting right here at the same time. But we are pleased to have with us tonight El Toro Water District Director Mike Gaskins, who is up for re-election in November, not for June, and for whom we also have a check. Mike has over 40 years of professional experience as a water quality chemist, microbiologist, and labor relations representative. He is a veteran, and he lives in Laguna Woods. Okay, Mike will speak for 3 minutes only, but we promise we will get him back in the fall. And he will take 2 questions. So if you have any questions, you can write them down on the cards, and Jonathan will collect them, and Jean will ask them. Welcome, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. 3.5 years ago, Janet kind of encouraged me to run for a seat on the board, and the Democratic Club here, Sue and Linda both helped so much, and I got elected beating an incumbent. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the district, but I thought we could do better. So when I got on the board, there were 5 males, old males, and I am one, so and the board now is 3 males, 1 Hispanic, and 2 females, the only females that have ever been on the so I think we've made some really good changes. We're also making changes in infrastructure. You may or may not know we have a 25-acre covered reservoir. It has like a big wetsuit on top of it and underneath it. And that was put on 20 years ago. It has to be replaced. $24 million. And so we recently issued bonds to the tune of $34 million to do a lot of big projects. The impact on your water bill, starting 2028, will be about $1.85 a year on individual water bills. So we're able to issue these bonds, service the debt, pay off some existing debt, and move forward with our infrastructure. So big things are happening in the district. They're all to do resilience. Drought is a big issue, and we have storage, and we want to maintain that so we continue to provide safe drinking water for all of you, and also take away the waste and get rid of that in a responsible way. So, set by 3 minutes, am I up? Jonathan's my timekeeper. Okay.
Maureen is the timekeeper.
Give him a minute and a half.
Oh, I have 1 whole minute. Okay. But I'm really proud of what we do. We're nonpartisan. There are political divides, but they don't get in the way of any of the business. Almost all of our votes are on issues that are well discussed, and the votes are usually 5-0. And so I think our board is one of the best I've ever seen. I did labor relations for a number of years. I sat on city councils that would have personal fights until 2 in the morning. So anyway, we're a good group. I'd like to keep it that way. I'm coming up for election in November, as is Catherine Freshman. And so we will be the 2 running at that point. Last 2 Novembers ago, the other 3 seats were run unopposed. So I'm hoping that happens again. But if it doesn't, I want to be prepared. And that's why I'm here to see you tonight and reintroduce myself to you. And I guess that's my 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
One question, well actually these are related questions. One question, part of it is how is the drought affecting water supply? And the related question is, once we start having multiple dwellings planned for development, how is that going to affect our water prices?
Does it take water prices?
Right, yeah.
Water price is determined primarily by Metropolitan Water District. We import all of our water. There are some surrounding districts that have wells that can supplement. We don't. We're completely dependent on imported supplies. And the district has worked hard on having storage capability in case there's something wrong with the delivery system. There is a drought everywhere. Janet and I just came back from Yosemite last week, and we stopped in a little town in the middle of the Central Valley called Colonel Allensworth State Park. I've seen the sign for years. And it was a turn-of-the-century community established by a black cavalry officer, and all of the residents were black. And they had a successful community. They had artesian wells, water flowing out of the ground, and then the water table dropped. And the town essentially did dry up. And while we were there in the campground, we shut down the faucets because the wells couldn't hook up water. And not only that, there are high arsenic levels in the water. So water is a huge issue, and we are able to store it, and we're working on that. That's one of our big deals. We think we could go 60 days without new water coming into the district and still not see interruption. If we, I don't know if that answers kind of the question I'm going around it. There are other sources.
Hardly hear you.
Pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. There are other issues. Desalination costs at least twice, perhaps a little more of what we're paying right now for water. It's an option, but it's a very expensive option. Conservation is going to be the answer. I mean, and storage. And there are a lot of projects statewide for storage. I think I've got you.
Yeah, well, you addressed a lot. Thank you. One of the questions I was going to ask you is, has the El Toro Water District considered partnering with the Doheny desalination plant?
The Doheny desalination plant is being South Coast Water District. And we are partners with all of the water districts all around us. We mutual support, sharing of facilities, sharing of infrastructure. When the initial plan for the Doheny desalination was set up, we didn't get involved in it because there was no way to get the water from there to here. So why, unless we build a new pipeline, which a couple of $1 million bucks. But what's happening with some of the bond money that we're getting is we're going to be building a pump station pretty much right across the street. Where am I sitting right now? Right there. There's a big water tank up on the hill. We're going to be building a pump station there that will allow us to bring water back upstream if we need to, but also to service the area of the district out over here. I don't know if you live over here by Gate 10 of you, any of you, but you'll see sometimes the crews out there wasting water, pouring water on the streets, because we need to move the water through the system so the chlorine residual stays up high enough that the water's safe. And that pump station we're building will alleviate that problem too. So everything we're doing is trying to maintain the supplies we've got.
Another question, are there any groundwater reservoirs in Orange County?
Oh yeah, the Orange County Water District, Santa Ana River Basin, is the national model of groundwater pumping, groundwater recharge. The Orange County Sanitation District is treating 100% of its sewage. 100%, none of it is going out to the ocean. And it's being treated to a drinking water standard and then pumped into the ground to recharge the aquifer. And again, there's no way for us to get water here at the moment from Orange County Water District, but that could be a resource, but there are. Our geology underneath our district, we simply don't have any water here.
Okay, another question is looking out, and I think this has to be the last question, I think. So looking out.
Supposed to be the last question.
Oh, it's all right. I bet. So looking into the future, 30, 40 years, what is the future of water in Orange County?
Oh, my crystal ball is fuzzy. Orange County is so cutting edge of dealing with this. There's another country partway around the world, Israel, that is also very, they don't have a lot of water. It's a very arid environment. And they have been cutting edge on desalination, recycling, direct reuse of sewage, of wastewater. So there are always things that are going to be. There's going to be treatment of sewage to such a drinking quality that it can be put right back into the taps. And it will be safe. But right now, it's pretty distasteful when you start thinking about it. Okay, so anyway, I guess Sue's going to come back, kick me off my shepherd's hook. And thank you guys so much.
Mike, don't forget your check. A really big round of applause for Mike Gaskins. He's very knowledgeable about water and is serving us very well in the El Toro Water District, and we hope that you will all vote for him in November, because he is not on the June ballot, he is on the November ballot. Okay, so you will be hearing more from him. And if you're wondering why we have these time limits, it's also because this is being recorded for TV6. And the program needs to be only 56 minutes long, okay? So that's part of the reason. And we probably will be recording our next month's meeting as well. But you can stick around after the meeting and talk to Mike. He'll be happy to answer any of your questions, okay? Now we do have some important club business that we need to attend to. The Democratic Party of Orange County is holding endorsement votes at their central committee meetings every month. For instance, Shireen Smith is running for Board of Education in our district, and she has been endorsed. Many of you have seen her at one of the meetings here. Same for Pete Harden, who's been endorsed for District Attorney, and Rick Foster, who you haven't met yet, but you will meet soon, has been endorsed for assessor. Our associate member, Alan Feldman, has the opportunity to go to central committee meetings and vote on these endorsements. We are supposed to direct him how to vote. For those recent endorsements, the board of directors took a vote, and so he knew how to vote. But what we would like to do is have a vote of confidence from you that if there isn't enough time to ask our members how to vote in each endorsement vote, that you will allow Alan Feldman to vote his conscience. Because there will be a vote coming up at the end of March, and as of now, we don't even know who is up for endorsement, okay? So we can't ask you because we don't know. And these things happen, unfortunately, with a very short time frame. So, if you are a member in good standing, and what does that mean? That means that you are a registered Democrat, because only registered Democrats can vote on these things. We welcome everybody else, no matter what your party, to be a member of our club, but you're not a member in good standing for voting purposes. And also, you have to have paid your dues for 2022. So, if you are a member in good standing, and you would like Alan Feldman to be able to use his, vote his conscience in upcoming endorsement votes at the Democratic Party of Orange County's Central Committee meetings, please say aye. Aye. Okay. Are there any nays? Thank you. I thank you for your vote, and that means that Alan can use his conscience. He's not here tonight because he's having a medical procedure tomorrow, but he will definitely be at the Central Committee meeting to vote. Okay, thank you very much for that. Now we do have some announcements, and I would like to call up REBECA GILAD, who is going to talk about fundraising. And right after REBECA, we will have Jean Mopowski, who will talk about outreach. And then Sue Snyder will talk about the South County Outreach food drive. And then Jonathan Adler will do legislative action. Okay, thanks, REBECA.
Thank you. Well, I have 3 minutes to talk to you about 7 items. So if suddenly you don't understand me that I'm speaking so fast, it's that I'm speaking in Spanish. I do it faster in Spanish. So first item, what is this, guys and girls? It's a quarter. What can you buy with a quarter nowadays? Nothing really. But if you put a quarter a day and then you send it to us, we can get from each member $90 per year. And if you multiply that by 400 that we are in this wonderful club, that's a lot of money. And I'm going to be repeating this because you just heard the two candidates. They need the money. So may I please ask those of you that have already become part of the quarterback family to stand up, and may I please hear a big round of applause? Okay, you know what my dream is? That when I ask this, everybody will stand up and I'll be the only one applauding. So please help. Second item. How many of you were born before 1970? Okay, so all of you, I'm sure, have some kinds of problems with your phone, with your computer, with your whatever. Now we have a recipe for your success, and you don't have to call your children for help. We have a fantastic volunteer that will go to your house to help you for 1 hour for only $25 that will go directly to our club. So if you need someone to help you, give me a call. It won't be me for sure. Third one, I have here my little things to remind me. I have here a make-believe cake. Well, it is a cake, because if you guys and girls are thinking about wanting a cake and eating it, this is your opportunity. We found a fantastic master baker that will give us 5 cakes per month, and she's going to donate the $25 that she's going to be charging for the cake to go to the club. And this is starting in April. She only uses fruits and vegetables from her own yard because she's also a master gardener. So if you are dreaming of a fresh cake with fresh fruit, give me a call. For the month of April, she's offering 3 different cakes: triple-decker carrot cake, or cranberry orange tea cake, or upside-down pineapple cake. So you will order it through me, she will bake it, we will pick it up and bring it to your home. Number 4, if you've looked at your calendars lately, we're very close to Easter, Passover, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all the way to Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I'm giving you a choice. You can find all your presents through Amazon and make Jeff Bezos richer, or you can donate and buy our cards right here, each box for $20, 5 cards. It's the best present you can give. All the pictures are from flowers, trees, and other plants in Laguna Woods. They come, thank you very much, they come with their envelope. If you buy 5 boxes, you get 1 free, and they're right there. We're opening back the store after we're done here. Number 5, you have some flyers on your tables. We know how much you love your volunteers, and we want to ask you to choose 1 volunteer and send us, you'll find all the criteria, send us a name, and the board of directors will choose who to give the award, the Sue Deering Volunteer of the Year Award, to that person. And that will happen. You have all the instructions, and I'm getting very close to the 3 minutes. So please think it over, send us a letter, tell us who do you want to become to receive the Volunteer of the Year Award. And that won't cost you anything. Now, we have something fantastic coming along. A new program that is going to be on TV. If you look around out there in our Laguna Woods Village, you will find out that we have lots and lots of immigrants from all over the world. So this new program that is created by our club will show every 2 months how that we're going to choose representatives of one country who are immigrants to the United States, and we will have a program where you can actually see through our Channel 6 how that country has benefited our country, has made our lives better, tastier. So starting in April, the first country that you will be learning about will be India. We're hoping to keep this going through the years, and you'll be learning and getting really delighted to see what the immigrants bring to this country. And finally, number 7. I don't know if you're aware, but if you individually donate to the club in 1 year $500, or your household donates $750 in 1 year, guess what? You get 3 membership for your eternal life. So isn't that a wonderful place to be? It is. So, there are so many opportunities nowadays for you to donate to the club. Of course, we don't get, the board of directors doesn't get any salaries. All the money goes to our candidates. So please help us select these wonderful people that are here getting your vote, but they also need your money. That's the reality. Thank you so much. The cards are over there, and we hope you get many of them.
And what Rebecca didn't mention is she took the pictures on the card.